Florida residency is one of the biggest hacks for U.S. citizens and residents trying to avoid paying state income tax, especially if they're living or traveling full-time overseas. Now, it used to be that only independently wealthy people could take advantage of this tax minimization strategy, right? Because before remote work, people generally had to live near where their job or their business was located. Today, though, we have millions of digital nomads and expats all working online, generating income remotely. But the problem is that many of them are still paying 5%, 10%, in some cases even 20% of their income in state income tax, and they're doing it completely unnecessarily. Florida Domicile, which is what we're going to talk about in this video, totally solves that tax problem. In Florida, there is no state income tax, no estate or inheritance tax, and no capital gains tax. As an added bonus, there are strong asset protection and financial privacy laws. In this video, we'll reveal how you can quickly and easily establish a domicile and claim residency in Florida. But before we do that, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps us out in the algorithm so we can keep doing this content for free and get this message out to other people who really need to hear it. So without further ado, let's dive in. First things first, we need to go over the difference between the terms residency and domicile. Now, domicile and residency might seem like synonyms, but when it comes to the legal and financial implications, the two terms are totally different. Your domicile is your permanent home. It's the place that you intend to return to. It's a long-term commitment to a specific location. Residency, on the other hand, is a little bit more loosey-goosey, right? If you have multiple homes, if you travel a lot, you could potentially have multiple residencies, but you can only designate one of those as your domicile. Really, it all comes down to what is your intention? After you finish traveling, after you come back to live in the US, where do you intend to settle down for the long term? Now, as you can imagine, intent is kind of an intangible concept, right? It's all up here in your head. Nobody can prove what your intentions are or aren't, which is why the state government is also going to look at what you're actually doing. Getting tax residency isn't as simple as just getting your driver's license in that state. The state government is also going to look at things like where you're spending your time, where you're voting, and the location of your primary residence. If you want to become a resident of Florida the right way, then you should follow the guide that we put together for you, which contains the very specific steps you need to take. Let's go through it. Step 1, secure a Florida residential address. You're going to need a real residential street address for this. Now, a lot of people will simply use a friend or a relative's address, which can be fine in many cases, but obviously everyone doesn't have access to that option. In that case, you can use our very own domicile service to secure your address and help you navigate through the transition. Step 2, obtain a Florida driver's license. For this, you will actually need to visit Florida, and it's a very important step in establishing your intent to make Florida your permanent home. You will also need 2 documents to prove your residency in the state, which Savvy Nomad can provide for you as part of our service. Step 3, register your vehicle in Florida. If you own any vehicles, make sure to get them registered in the state. Now, the beauty of Florida is that you don't actually need to have the vehicles there to get them registered, which is a big plus if you're not in the States to do this. Step 4, file a declaration of domicile. Signing this form helps you establish Florida as your primary residence for legal purposes, such as filing taxes. Step 5, register to vote. Again, registering to vote in Florida demonstrates your intent to make Florida your long-term permanent residence. Step 6, file IRS Form 8822. This form officially notifies the IRS of your change of address, which helps ensure consistency across state and federal documentation. Step 7, update your financial accounts. Change the address on those bank and investment accounts. Make sure it's your new Florida address and not wherever you were living before. Step 8, maintain Florida as your primary place of residence. Florida has no set minimum as to the number of days you have to spend there to establish a domicile, but you probably want to make it your primary residence. Make sure you avoid spending significant time in any other US state. And also, and this is very important, make sure you completely cut ties with your old state before making the move. Now, if all of this sounds totally overwhelming and too time consuming, well, the good news is you can use Savvy Nomad's domicile service. We provide a street address in Florida that satisfies legal requirements as a real residential address. Plus, we handle all the paperwork and make sure you stay in full compliance. Link is in the video description. Make sure you use the discount code YouTube for 15% off. And also, do us a favor, hit that like button. It costs you nothing and it helps us get this content to more people who really need to see it. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you want more tax tips and financial strategies for digital nomads and expats, make sure you subscribe. Till the next video, safe travels and happy tax planning.